In the 1960s, new upstart comic book publisher Marvel Comics really was tearing things up with their classic dynamic cover scenes. These incredibly eye-catching cover scenes were usually drawn by master artist Jack Kirby. Kirby had a real knack, not for just composition, but for taking the human body and twisting it, contorting it in ways that real anatomy just doesn't move, creating real drama and tension with his figures. Of course, Kirby and Marvel used that dynamic to create some memorable covers featuring superheroes either teaming up or, more often than not, fighting each other, knowing full well this is what many readers wanted to see. Here is the cover to Daredevil number 43 from 1968, guest starring Captain America, one of Kirby's most famous, most dynamic covers ever. Kirby really twists these characters into contorted figures representing action and drama and movement, all the while creating a great sense of depth and deep perspective. Jack Kirby was, of course, the co-creator of the Marvel Universe in the 60s. The Incredible Hulk, Captain America, the Avengers, the X-Men, so many more. An incredible storyteller who took the rules of realism and bent them to his own world and his own way of thinking to create exciting comic book visuals. Fun fact, another Marvel Comics great, Gene Colan, then the regular interior artist on Daredevil, he also was asked to pencil his own version of this power-packed cover. And although Gene's is undeniably great, switching the reader's point of view from inside the ring to being ringside, it just doesn't measure up to Jack Kirby's for sheer excitement. Although Gene's cover has some great merit of its own, with Daredevil actually stealing Captain America's shield. Is that even possible? Isn't that like tugging on Superman's cape? So, inspired, I use my Silver and Bronze Age Daredevil cosplay, along with my Silver and Bronze Age classic comic book Captain America cosplay designs, and began snapping away, knowing full well I could only try to capture a torso here, a fist there, legs here, pushing limbs forward, pushing limbs backward, knowing I'd be going into Photoshop later and manipulating these images even further in an attempt to try to match those Jack Kirby in-your-face dynamics. An elongated fist, an arm coming toward you, a leg being pushed back. And using Photoshop, here is my cobbled-together cut-and-paste Daredevil, coming pretty close to Jack's agile figure of Daredevil on that famous cover. And here's my own Frankenstein-like attempt with the Captain America pictures, sewn together piece by piece, maybe 7 or 8 individual pieces here. But I also had to look at the original cover and take out the drawn figures. My original plan was either to redraw the missing Kirby spectators, or use other Kirby art to fill them in. Kirby crowd scenes from the Fantastic Four, the Eternals, early issues of Ant-Man and Iron Man, even Jack's 70s DC Comics work. No one drew crowd scenes like Jack Kirby. So let's take a look at my finished cosplay created cover. And here it is. It took a lot of twisting and a lot of manipulating, a lot of warping figures to make them fit that environment. For those spectators, I used real photos from past prize fights, making sure to mute the background and not take away from the foreground characters. To match the Kirby aesthetic, some heads were made smaller. Comic book superheroes are usually drawn with the heroic proportions of about 7 or 8 heads tall. Extra shading was added here and there. Again, I heavily used the transform and warping tools in Photoshop, and I think I came pretty close to making these characters seem to be really squaring off. A lot of the text in this guest starring caption had to be moved. It's just so hard making real figures match their illustrated counterparts. Well, I hope you found this fun and it brought a smile to your face. It was tons of fun for me, lots of work, but I think it was worth it. You can see videos about these two cosplays right here where you're watching this on the same YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. And yes, before anyone says a word, I know Daredevil's billy club and holster are on the wrong side. It couldn't be helped, okay? Sometimes you just gotta overlook these small things. I mean, after all the 3 days of posing and working and redrawing and working in Photoshop to make these things fit and restarting and redoing, re-editing, reworking, recoloring, making this fit here, making that fit there, redoing, the color correcting, the reworking, adjusting perspective, adjusting skin tones, worrying about this, worrying about that, redoing this.